now time for us to transition into the women's event with quarterfinals getting underway, and a big matchup with two former Bells champions fighting it out for a place in the semis. Carissa Moore with 3 titles here on the bowl. Courtney Conlogue got her breakthrough win at Bells just last season. Plenty of head-to-head history between these two competitors. 15 previous matchups, 11 going Carissa's way. And Carissa, she has had a win over Courtney at Bells as well. So Ronnie Blakey with Pete Mel and some set waves approaching to kick off this first quarterfinal. And it looks like Courtney's going to get things started here. Loading up, taking a high line, dropping down to the bottom now to set up this approach. Super explosive and just loses it, that board flipping over. Rare to see Courtney fail to put a ride together, but much like that big clash with Mick Fanning and Kelly Slater yesterday, these are two long-time rivals. They fought for world titles in the past, and I bet there's going to be some nerves. Let's see how Carissa's feeling on her equipment, driving off the bottom into this first section. Lovely swoop to get started. Arcing back once again on that rail. Just looking a little more comfortable on this wave. It was a slower pace ride to Courtney's, and Carissa just looking for a finish now. Beautiful flow, a lot of different turns she can go to and call on as she throws her board up over this end section here on the inside. And this wave's still reeling off and shuts down on the inside with a little fin drift from the 3-time world champion.
All that experience get to draw off of. She did that. She was very comfortable in her approach here, didn't rush anything.
Here's the replay of Courtney's first ride, Pete. Where's it go wrong here?
Well, I think there's that wanting and needing of a big explosive first turn. I mean, this section here was exciting. She went there to go, and almost at that point, she was in that vertical section. It needed it off the top and not the carve, and she kind of was indecisive. That indecisiveness is that anxiety, that's that pressure, that wanting to do something super dynamic to start that early.
The number comes through for Carissa Moore. An epic start to the quarterfinals for Carissa, an 8.33, and really the number went high because of the commitment on this first carve.
For sure, and you know, we touch on it each and every event, each and every venue. You start off with a big explosive move and you finish strong, which is what she did. You know, this wave went off the reef. We're getting the tide filling in, so there's going to be these flat spots through the midsection, but she stayed with it, kept the flow, no worries. She knew it was going to stand up again on the inside. She gets that inside section and rattles off a few more moves all the way across the reef. She knew it was going to get shallow right here. She stayed with it. Hits it 2 more times before this wave finishes. And a great start for Carissa Moore. But look at this. This is a beautiful arc. You know, again, her timing, and she's so strong at these maneuvers, both her and Courtney. But look at that. Great technique once again. You know, you spread out those arms and you draw it across your body. You hold that rail through the move. So powerful. Here she's a little slower in that second turn, so she can draw it back into the foam. And then a third time as well. Again, nice rhythm and flow, but that first move, so powerful and so strong.
Long-time rivals fighting it out here in quarterfinal number 1. Carissa Moore getting the better of Courtney on that opening exchange.
Goodness she didn't, because those looks were just searing straight through the back of her as they were paddling out, and it was so crazy looking. But we'll see how the answer back here from Courtney comes down the line. She's looking at something beautiful, long wall out in front of her. She's coming around the corner, sweeps that corner, not looking exactly like something she wanted, but she's going to set up the inside as she goes in and kicks out, not getting exactly what she wanted. But let me tell you, the way this heat started out, the way they were paddling out, you could see Carissa's intent, and that's just something that was, you know, obviously in play as she got the better of that first exchange. Courtney just having a wave with too much bump on it, too much lump, and maybe a little too much psych of her own.
Every situation's different for these conditions, but I think there's a little bit of bump out there. It's not like that perfect offshore bells, and sometimes it can catch people by surprise. I actually missed the start of the heat. I was only just got here, so following up what Rich said, yeah, I guess if Courtney has made a mistake, he said, I'm assuming, yeah, she just has to dig deep and use that last year's experience. You know, she was on fire, and I think she can dig it out.
Courtney's up and riding on this one, wrapping around that cutty there, working her way through to the inside. Another nice little wrap, hoping it stands up in front of her and hits the lip there. Oh, nice little throw of the tail there, and getting plenty of points on the inside. So good ride there for Courtney, and on the outside, Carissa, boys, throw it back to you.
We'll check back in with Barton, Kai and Richie in a moment, but let's see how Carissa Moore responds, because Courtney put together a brilliant ride then. She may have taken the lead. Carissa trying to get it back with this wave. So already just tapping into the flow of this location, but her board just sort of drifted out of the face of the wave on that occasion. She wasn't able to complete that last turn. We'll see some replays and check back in with Barton Lynch.
You know, does it rival the 8? It's a smaller wave, but I feel like she did get a bit of stronger maneuvers, but most likely will come slightly under, but fairly even matched. As you take a look at the replay here, again, see how this wave stood up. It stayed on the reef. We're going to see a lot of times these waves move off the reef, which kind of happened to Carissa's wave as well. But that healthy mix of slashes, snaps, and layback carves, again, goes through this inside section, and she's going to finish it strong as well. She knows how important that is. You know how some of these waves, they'll just stand up for you through the entire wave, from top to bottom, all the way along the point. Those are the kind of waves you have. There's just not that many of them. So now the paddle battle.
Yeah.
13 minutes and 25 seconds
The score is of priority.
We'll have a look at the number from Courtney on her last ride, an 8.73. Some very aggressive turns thrown into that ride. I think that frustration really coming out after the mistake on the first ride, but Carissa, she's back in front. She had a 7 on her ride. You think about these two competitors, just that when they surf their best, it feels like Carissa, she's got to be relaxed and comfortable and holding a good lead before she really starts to find that rhythm. Courtney, when the mercury rises, that's when she seems to lay down her best surfing. And here she goes again, now looking for a 6.6 out of this wave to get herself in front. An epic battle between two former winners unfolding, as Courtney looks to set up her run through the inside here, starting to find her flow. Goes a little deep there on the roundhouse. Looking pretty exhausted after that big paddle battle as she kicks out. Trying to get rid of a 3, she'll probably do it, but did she get a 6.6?
I would say yes. On that inside flatter section, she still had some drive off of it. Take a look again. Wave choice being she's going to have this wave hug the reef. That time layback snap to start, then the big open carve. This wave stays nice and steep on the outside bowl section, cuts it back, and then you can see this crease start to come across the wave right there, and that pushes you down the line. So the cut back to finish, but yeah, you can see a little bit of the burn right there.
Love it. Great wave from Courtney. On the outside especially, continued with that aggression, kept that fire burning.
He lives in the bush now, he lives in the city. Look at the fashion of these two. Good on you. Back to you boys in the booth.
Kai's always looked like he
been in the bush.
Just woke up in the park. But here we go. Courtney now trying to better a 7.83. She is leading this heat. And taking the fight to Carissa. After the 3-time world champ got the better of the Californian on that opening exchange. Courtney's fought her way back. Priority playing a huge role, obviously, and that paddle battle, that committed effort paying off.
And see if she can get that score. So she let this wave go. And this is one of those waves that Courtney was all excited about because it stayed on the reef. Surfed it really well. Again, nice little crisp off the top. The roundhouse cutback, again, sets up the carves. She's strong with those types of moves. You know, I don't see it going as high as her other two waves. So she expends a lot of energy and some time by taking this wave. But it's low risk, you know, without having priority and having the lead. Yeah, it's low risk. The only thing it does do is it starts to tap a little bit of that energy and time.
7 minutes remaining here. The score is in a 7.03 for Courtney. So the situation remains the same. Carissa Moore chasing an 8.24. We're having a look at Carissa Moore out the back. Having a look at a good set wave. She didn't get into it.
Wow.
What went wrong there, Strider?
Well, that was a shocker for Carissa Moore. She was taking a look at it. She let the first one go by. And then knowing she needed to score, knowing she needed to be in the spot, it was almost like she was paddling, trying to pace herself to go into it. She was probably too excited almost and didn't put enough gas into it, realizing it too late, started to put the hammer down on the paddle, but it was just a little bit too late and ended up on the backside of the rib of the top of the lip. Couldn't get into it, missed her opportunity. And that is something that could come back to haunt her because that wave did peel off pretty well. She could have done at least 2 or 3 good carves out the back on that one.
No real shocker results in the account just yet, but she's pulling the trigger here. Less than a minute to go, and she's on a smaller wave. She's chasing a big score, an 8.24. Mixing things up, and the pressure getting to her there. Goes to that rail turn, skips out of the water. 45 seconds to go. So an opportunity lost there, and another quarterfinal.
I mean, that's 3 fifths in a row.
This time last year she had 4 thirds in a row to start the year. So Courtney Conlogue here making her way in without the board. But an unbelievable performance, a great fight back after making a mistake on the opening exchange. Incredible effort, a great battle, a memorable battle.